Hello. So today we're in Warwickshire, which is Shakespeare country, and we're going to a place called Coughton Court, and I always thought that this was pronounced Coughton Court, but I'm reliably informed that it's actually called Coughton Court. So yeah, we're going to have a quick look around and see what's going on. Alright, so I think we're pretty much there now. No grand entrance at this place. We actually get a view of the house before we get to the car park. I think this is the west front. Alright, so as we walk out of the car park, I think this is the old stable buildings on our left hand side. So this is the Grade 1 listed Coughton Court in Warwickshire, and 21 generations of the Throckmorton family have lived here since 1409, and they still live here today. At the centre of this west front there is the Tudor gatehouse, dating from some time after 1536. We know this as it's built of stones which came from local abbeys after the dissolution of the Monasteries Act in 1536. The gatehouse is the oldest part of the house and is flanked by later wings in the Strawberry Hill Gothic style, popularised by Horace Walpole. The house has a long crenellated facade, and crenellated basically means it has the form of battlement across the top. The family were related to the key conspirators in the Gunpowder Plot of 1605, an effort to end the persecution of Catholics in England. The ringleader of the Gunpowder Plot was Robert Catesby, son of Sir William Catesby and Anne Throckmorton of this place. And we might see a priest hole inside, which was for hiding the priests during that time. As you can see here at the rear of the house, there's some quite substantial works going on. So you might hear a bit of noise and stuff. The house has been in the ownership of the National Trust since 1946. However, the Throckmorton family still hold a 300-year lease. In recent times, the house has been undergoing extensive repairs to the roof and fabric of the building, costing around £3.3 million. The family actually managed the property on behalf of the National Trust until 2007, when at that time management of the property then reverted back to the National Trust. However, it's been announced that the family is due to resume management again in 2026, and this has caused public concern that the family would benefit from money spent by the National Trust on repair works, but then National Trust members will no longer be able to visit as part of their memberships. So, you may see why there's potential for concern there, and it's partly why I've made sure to visit this year so I can see how the place is run before it goes back into the management of the family next year. Of course, after that there's no guarantee of how often it will be open or of admission charges and whatever else. The central courtyard here at the rear was enclosed on all four sides until 1780, when the east range opposite the gatehouse was demolished. The front gatehouse used to open at each end to allow horse-drawn coaches and deliveries into the central courtyard, but this changed after it was enclosed. And here's a look at the courtyard at the rear, without the scaffolding on the left-hand side. So it is quite nice looking. This is the view out from the courtyard. Into the fields beyond. This is inside the courtyard. If you look up the top of that tower there, I think we can go up there after we've been inside the house, or whilst visiting the house. So we'll have a look at that in a bit. Does look a bit of a mess with the scaffolding up. Alright, let's see if we can have a look inside.
Well, I'll just go through things briefly. The home of the Coughton family for the last 600 years. So, Coughton comes about ages, a lot of history to do with the house, they've got a bit involved with the gunpowder pot, and there's talks on the 600 years of history and on the gunpowder pot and the Catholic Church at the end of the lane at various times, okay? You should have seen what she came through. If you're not, if you're interested in you haven't seen them, I'll make all the time, okay? But this is the oldest bit of house. It was built in the 1530s and was originally a carriageway, so no doors on it, and there was a moat out there.
Yeah, so this is the front hall. And as I said before, this used to be an open gateway that used to lead to the courtyard out there. And the ceiling up there, that is actually plaster, made to look like brickwork. Let's continue. So we go onto this stairway, and apparently this staircase actually acts as a family tree, showing several generations of the Throckmorton family, and the earliest are at the bottom and the later generations are nearer the top. Suppose that's the family coat of arms on the floor or something. So as I say, as this continues up, the family portraits get later and later. Apparently we carry on up to the top first, and then go to the rooms below. We're at the top of the stairs now. And I think this next room will be the blue drawing room. And this is above the gatehouse.
History and eminent.
Yes, it's elaborate, yeah.
All is finery.
Yeah.
I imagine that one is before, because he's the first baronet.
Right.
This one's the fourth baronet, so you're talking probably 100 years.
These are all the
They're all connected, yeah. This is his daughter. She became a nun. That's his mother over there in the corner. This is his second wife. That's she's related to this lady through the Duke of Paris.
And what sort of era, what's their age is this?
These ones are the same, 1761.
Oh, is that okay?
Mid-1700s, 17...
Okay. When did she shoot? And she's still alive?
No, she died at 56 years ago.
This is the yellow drawing room.
Behind us, it used to be an enclosed courtyard. So where you came
Let's go up to the roof. Up this spiral staircase.
I saw a sneaker in the building.
Here we are on the roof.
No.
This is the west front. That's looking over towards the stables. And then this is over towards the garden front. And there's the courtyard down there that used to be enclosed on that on the far end. But that was demolished in, I think I said, the 1780s. And as you can see, that looks out into lovely countryside up there. Now we can see all the building work going on.
Same way down, is it?
It is, yeah. Yeah.
From this side, we can see the tower of the Anglican church on the left there. And then further out, in the middle there, that's the Catholic church. And then again out onto the parkland. There's this little room on the side, isn't it?
Is he doing the lawn?
What?
Is he doing
Clearly a very old door here. I think what I'm going to do in a sec is get my the old zoomy shaky camcorder out and have a look at some bits of the distance. This is the room halfway down that tower.
So yeah, apparently it was, not unknown for.
This is the tower room, and this is actually what they used to call a priest hole, to hide the priests.
I think there's people coming up.
Back downstairs. Okay. So I think this is the dining room. You can see all the panelling that apparently is 16th century. This is thought to only have become a dining room in the 19th century, which probably wasn't popular with the household staff because the kitchen was almost 100 metres away, apparently.
That had, at the height of their powers, the Throckmortons had 5 big estates. They're all gone but one, and that was in debt. It's privately owned, privately run. It's nothing to do with his mother runs that. His mother runs that. She was here a lot, but she's down there doing it.
Who is the portrait upstairs?
That's there.
A modern portrait.
That's there. That's his grandmother.
That's a lovely portrait.
It's a lovely
Really lovely.
She reminds me of Betty Goodney, right? I don't
Yeah,
know why.
she looks gorgeous.
Yes, she was like forward to the thing.
She was professional. She part of everything.
Yes, I think it's because of her that the family was running the house in Anglican.
So I've just walked down into the saloon, and actually during 2025 a leak was discovered, and water was pouring through the ceiling, and you can see the damage here. So as you can see, they're sort of preparing for repair work to be done. And there's this lovely double staircase at this end. Ooh, this is nice, don't it? Okay, so that's about it for the house. And that door leads you out into the courtyard, where we were a bit earlier. Here's the scaffolding on the side of the house. Okay, so there's actually two churches on the site, and we're going to have a look at the Anglican one first, which is, you can just see it through those trees there. So let's go and have a look. Okay, so this is St Peter's Church, and this is the Anglican church on the site. And this is quite close to the house, this one is. You can see the side of the house there. And here's the church. And this church was built in the late 15th century. Have a quick walk around the outside, and then we'll pop in for a look. Look at the size of this headstone up here compared to the others. Reaches up to the window. Alright, let's have a look inside. Can't say I've come across a country house with 2 churches on the site before. A pipe organ here. Let's have a look at this tomb here. So this is the tomb of Sir George Throckmorton and his wife Catherine. And you can actually see images of their children on the cover of the tomb. And there's more around the side. That's quite a grand tomb. And apparently they had 19 children. And they're all on here somewhere. And that will be Sir George and his wife Catherine. There's probably like about 4 tombs in here. Just outside I've just spotted this interesting sundial. Okay, now we'll go and find the other church, which is the Catholic church. And if we walk out of here, it's just up towards the end of that drive up there. You might just be able to see the spire up there. Okay, so just on the edge of the gardens, this is the church of St Peter, St Paul and St Elizabeth. And this is the Catholic church on the site. This church was commissioned by Sir Robert Throckmorton, 8th Baronet, soon after the Emancipation Acts were passed, which permitted the building of non-Anglican places of worship. It was designed by the Catholic architect Charles Hansom, the brother of the inventor of the Hansom cab. It was built in 1857, but actually reflects the church building style of the 14th century. And actually, from this Catholic church, you can see the Anglican church, which is closer to the house over there. We'll have a look if we can get inside now. Just shut the door behind me. You can, incidentally, you can still hear the birds chirping inside here. I don't know if they might be in that tower or something. That I think is through those doors, possibly. Let's have a little look around. I did read that some of the glass in here was produced by Hardman of Birmingham. And if you didn't know, in the 19th century, Hardman and Co. were one of the world's leading glass producers, or glass designers. And incidentally, they produced that big banqueting hall window at Alton Towers, if you've ever seen that. And that's been restored recently at Alton Towers. Maybe that was some of the glass there at this end of the church. And at the end where the entrance is, there's a gallery up there with quite a decent organ on it, as you can see. Some more of the coloured glass, possibly by Hardman. It's hard to know exactly which ones were produced by that company. Very impressive though. You can see those birds up there in the tower. Yeah, so that was the Catholic church. And I suppose that's the vicarage connected to it next door. Right? Sheep grazing in the park there. Okay, so we've just come from the Catholic church there. And then there's this orchard down here. This is walking back towards the gardens at the rear of the house. And then just off the side of the orchard, we have the walled garden over here, which I think is run by the Throckmorton family at the moment. This nice pool in the middle. And there's various little compartments, or rooms as they call them. It's a bit early to see all the colour that you could see here, but in a month's time this place will be blossoming. It'll be absolutely bursting with colour. And as we continue on, we've got this lovely pool down here. Yeah, so you can imagine they used to set off in the boats from here. Maybe they still do sometimes. Nice little shelter to sit in there, next to the water. And as we continue down here, we've got these sort of classical columns. I'm guessing these have been reused from somewhere. Maybe another old house somewhere, or an older garden feature or something like that. So yeah, like I say, this will be bursting with colour in a month's time. A little sundial. That leads you back to near the house. Now there is quite a bit of parkland here, but unfortunately there's no follies to go and see. I think this house was a bit too early for the craze of building follies. That was more the Georgians and Victorians really. Can you see all the fish in here? Quite large. No idea what type they are. Maybe carp or something like that. And I think this is the River Arrow, by the way. So, that was Coughton Court, and probably a slightly shorter video than usual, being as there's not been any follies and stuff to see in the parkland. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway, and I thank you again for watching as usual. It's always appreciated, and I shall see you next time. Thanks a lot.